Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Let's Play the Third Courier. And we just got done taking everything that we should take from supply and mission support. And so now we can go north, and we can also visit. Seeing the doctor will basically restore your health. Right now we don't need to restore our health because we haven't actually been injured as yet. And then visiting personnel will allow you to go and see your file on the CIA and see what your current stats are. So you can also return to mission support. They are open, I believe, around the clock. So now the next thing, what I'll do then is I will go ahead and explain a little bit about walking around Berlin a little bit. So the next thing that you have to do, well, one thing I wanted to talk about is doing what is called a save. So you can save the game. It is a good idea to save often because there are some areas where, well, there are plenty of ways to mess up in this game, to be honest with you, whether it is wasting time or whether it is, like, say for example, if you go to a place and you get killed, or if you get arrested, or if you get your weapons taken away from you, for example, or if you get poisoned. These are all things that are very bad in the game, so you can save the game before doing that. So now I've saved the game. So now we are in the Ulanstraße, and so now we can actually just walk around. Now one thing you'll notice here, there's this icon. That is the icon for an office building. And so when you're facing this direction, which is east, of course the direction you're facing will be on the top, then this office building, mission support, will be on the south. So for example, if I go west, it'll be on the south. There's another office building here on the north. So just walking around, and then here is a hurdy-gurdy man. Now, of course, another option or another action that you can use is what's the bribe action. Now, bribing actually is good for trying to get information from people. Sometimes you can bribe people and they won't give you any information that's really very relevant or very useful. However, what you can do, for example, also, I've got the photo fax, and already Langley has already told me that there's a negative response. So they don't have any files on this person that I just photographed. Therefore, he's just a regular hurdy-gurdy man. Okay, so what we can do is kind of wander around, and I will show you a little bit. Now, of course, this icon right here means a store or a shop. We can go in just to let you know, and this is just a regular shop. There's no real need or use for going in here. There are some shops though that where you can actually go and get things that are very useful in the game, and that's why in some ways it kind of is good to explore those. But the problem is that there is a black market, I guess you could say, where we'd have to go and get those things later. So the first thing that we need to do is start looking for the pieces of the non-nuclear NATO defense plans. And we're actually in, I don't know if you would call this luck, but I've got an assassin who is basically standing right in front of me. Now, of course, as you can see, he's got a gun. He is definitely a hostile character, and very likely he's going to try to kill us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to arm myself and get ready for combat. Now that brings me to the next thing. When we encounter characters like this, we basically only have 4 options: run, fight, and sometimes chat and threaten. So chatting doesn't necessarily get you anywhere. So yes, you just made my day, which basically means that yes, he's basically cornered us and he's going to try to kill us. Threaten is only useful for some characters. I can tell you right now it will not be useful for the assassin. Okay, so I threatened him and he just attacked me. So the way that you do combat in this game is you have an attack turn-based type of combat. So he just took a turn by attacking me. He just attacked me first. You are dazed by the attack. Here's your health bar. You'll want to pay attention to the health bar, because if your health bar is if there's no green left in your health bar, it means that you are dead, in which case it's game over. So now that I'm armed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack this assassin. So I just attacked him. The assassin is covered in blood. He just attacked me back, and I just wounded the assassin, and he just missed me. So then 1 less assassin to fight. Now, when the game gives you that message, when it says 1 less of anything to fight, it means that you have killed that character, or you have killed that person that you have encountered. Okay. Now that we have killed the assassin, what we can now do is search. We can search the body and see if we can find anything useful. You find a Beretta 25. You also notice a matchbook from the Ax Bax Bar on Leibnizstraße. Okay, so what we've got here is a part of the plot. So a matchbook of the Ax Bax Bar on Leibnizstraße, which means that we probably should go to the Ax Bax Bar and see why this person has a matchbook, or why this assassin frequented this bar. So what we can do then is we can take these things. We can take the Ax Bax matches. Now, one thing about this game too, we can also try to take the Beretta, but it won't let us carry another handgun because we've already got 2 handguns. So the next thing we'll need to do then is we'll need to find the Ax Bax Bar. Before we do anything else though, before we even leave the same square that we were just in when we fought this assassin, is we are going to need to disarm ourselves. And I will tell you why. Because if you wander around Berlin armed, it increases the likelihood that you will attract the attention of police, and you will therefore encounter more police officers who are actually much, much better armed than we are. They actually have, some of them have AK-47s, some of them have what they're called NATO CAR-15s, which is basically a version of the AR-15 or the M16. And so honestly, bringing a little handgun to a fight with an M16 or with an AK-47 is not a winning proposition. Therefore, what you want to do is walk around West Berlin armed. Now, that being said, I know I talked about this a little bit in the last, or I believe the video before last, about this option, which is the sneak option. Now what the sneak option does is it actually reduces the likelihood that you will encounter characters such as that. So if you're walking around in broad daylight, it just happens by chance that we got confronted with an assassin. Now we also might encounter panhandlers, obnoxious drunks, muggers, and just regular drunks. And of course the muggers and the obnoxious drunks are armed and they will attack us, and of course they are a pain, and of course every fight that we have to get into also wastes our ammunition, and they don't really give us anything in return except if we want to take whatever weapons that they had, which we may or may not want to do. So the sneak option, what that does is it makes it so you have much fewer encounters with characters of that sort. Your furtive movements are nearly imperceptible. Now, that being said, a disadvantage, if you want to call it a disadvantage, of using the sneak option is that it will attract the attention of police officers, which is not really a problem if you are unarmed. So, for example, I will go around going north, and right away I encounter a police officer. So what I need to do then, the way that you get rid of these police officers, honestly, just to kind of explain a little bit, you definitely don't want to threaten them. You definitely don't want to fight them. There's really no need to run from them because they're not attacking us right now. You can chat with them, but it basically asks you for your papers. Now, the papers that we're talking about is your U.S. passport. If you use your U.S. passport with the police, then they will say these seem to be in order, thank you. The U.S. passport is not the only passport in the game, but it is definitely probably the best one, the most useful, because, for example, if you're in East Berlin, you don't want to be using a West German passport, just like when you are in West Berlin, you probably don't want to be using an East German passport because very likely you could be picked up, arrested, and questioned by the police. So showing the U.S. passport shows that you're not really involved in things directly here in Berlin. So the next thing we can do, now again, sneaking will make it more likely that we're going to encounter police officers. The only annoyance with this is having to use your U.S. passport every time. But it also means that we don't have any encounters. Now, having encounters doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing. It's just that the only thing that you really get from encounters with drunks or with muggers or assassins or anything like that is you do get some experience for killing them. Okay, so now we've got, remember when we took the matchbook from the assassin that we just killed, and it said that the Ax Bax Bar was on Leibnizstraße. So now we're on Leibnizstraße, and so we can see if we can find the Ax Bax Bar. Now this icon right here doesn't mean a bar, it means a restaurant. If it shows the plate and the silverware, and of course you can always go into restaurants. It's just a restaurant or a bar. There's really no reason for us to come here. I mean, you can chat, you can bribe them, for example. Okay, so yeah, I've got to use my passport again to get the police officer out of my hair. There we go. Okay, so then the police officer leaves. Okay, so, oh yes, here's another thing too. There's the cash machine. If you need cash, you can use your cash card to take money out of your account. You can usually withdraw 30 Deutsche Mark at one time, and that would be to help you to buy things if you need to, for example. Okay, so now we are headed west, actually, is where we are going. Trying to find the Ax Bax Bar, and we get another police officer we have to get rid of. There we go. Okay, well, and it may take a while for us to find it, honestly, because there are lots of different things. Actually, I think we just found it. This is the icon for a bar, and I think this actually may be the Ax Bax Bar. I'm going to have to actually stop this video, and then in our next episode we'll go ahead and go into the Ax Bax Bar and actually see if we can get any information from anybody in there about why that assassin was there, for example. So I will talk to you next time.